Welcome back to another fantastic property tour, Rankin family. Today, we are located in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, looking at another gorgeous luxury home for sale. And I want to give a huge thank you to the listing agent, Talina Vecina and Brittany Bosnito with Compass for making this tour possible. I'll make sure to leave all of the information in the description below. Now, starting on the exterior, you have this beautiful shiplap surrounding, and on the side, you are going to have board and batten. Then you have this massive courtyard as you enter in, and that is intentional. We'll get to that in just a second. Not to mention, you are going to have a massive driveway and motor court. Straight ahead over there is a 5,500 square foot workshop that you can take advantage of, especially if you work from home. And this one's situated on over 10 acres. So those of you, we talk about that quite often. You might find a house that you absolutely love, but you don't have the acreage that you need. Well, this is going to be your solution. Now, the beautiful landscaping has been just fresh, well thought out, and that's going to surround the backyard oasis. We'll get to that a little bit later on, but I want to continue going inside of this courtyard. So this courtyard here is going to be surrounded by river rock. So very nice, a tranquil feel, very peaceful and zen. So you see you have the designated sitting area over here to the right and your additional sitting area over here to the left. Now you see the lower exterior brick continues inside of here, adding some more character, and then your covered front porch. You have the wood surrounding the covered front porch and the wood porch ceilings. Really nice. And what I really want you to pay attention to is the well thought out design. It's an H design, and that was intentional, and you'll see that as we enter inside of the home. So walking up the steps, you see that we have the glass panes as far as the front door rather, and then look at our foyer. Wow. Look at this. So you have your built-ins immediately whenever you walk in. So you have a nice little designated sitting area, but most likely you'll have your candle, just how it is now, or some decor if you wanted to, and some additional storage right there. And then look at this. Beautiful painting. You got your sconce right above that. And as soon as you enter, look at this. So you have a bar area right over here if you wanted to take advantage of that. But then look at this, more of a formal dining area, beautiful light fixtures hanging down, your tray ceilings. And the cool thing about this home is the windows. You have an abundance of windows surrounding this entire property to take advantage of the impeccable views. So heading in here, you got the tile flooring, tall baseboards, very nice neutral color, really modern, but an elegant look and touch to this entire home. You're going to see that throughout. Okay, so continuing, you see, look at this. So you have 10-foot ceilings in here. You have your sliders opening up to your backyard oasis. And the cool thing is about this is that you're going to have multiple access points to that backyard. Beautiful white oak floors surrounds this property, especially in the common areas. And I want to take you through the entire perimeter of the home so we don't miss a thing. First and foremost, let's do a full pan so you can see the entire depth of this home. Very nice and elegant look. So the owners are actually cabinetry makers, right? Custom cabinetry. And so they really were intentional with designing their custom cabinetry in this home here. And you can really tell that, especially sometimes, you know, the video doesn't do it justice as being here in person. However, I think it does based on what I'm seeing. Okay, so now continuing in here, you have more of that California style kitchen in here. Extremely open. The window surrounds the entire area. So if you want to entertain and have your entire family here, you can certainly do that in just this room alone. You're going to have your access point right over there to your backyard oasis. We'll get to that. I know you might be seeing right across, you have a pool house. That's going to be neat. Look at this. I have to say, one of the first times I've ever seen a kitchen as beautiful as this. So bravo to the sellers on this home who designed it. Okay, so now you have multiple areas right here to prep additional food. You have your sink right there, as you can see, but then you have the cooktop in the island. So that way you can see your backyard oasis. Look at that. So as always, we open up some of these drawers right here so you can see the full depth. All of them are gonna have the soft close mechanism that you could take advantage of. Then you have the beautiful gold spout right there. As you can see, your paneled refrigerator. Look at this. So plenty of storage space, as you can see, even down here, plenty of space to work with. Now right here, the discreet spice rack right here that you can take advantage of. So you push that in and then you would never know, as you can see. Okay, so continuing here, you're gonna have your quartz countertops, your high-end material backsplash right there, some additional sconces, and then you see that you have the vaulted ceiling. So increases the space in here, right? You have more of that roomier and airy feel. And then I'll show you the full depth before we continue. All right, so now one of my favorite features inside of this home. So you have this additional bar area right here, right? But you have the additional sink, you have the Thermador appliances, and look at this. So all the counter space that you can imagine, then that's gonna wrap around right here and look at the storage available. That is one of the neatest features I've seen inside of house. So great job for that. Okay, so I'm gonna start all the way over here so you can see the full depth, and then we'll work our way around. So you have all the cabinetry that you would possibly need to store all of your canned goods. And then as we continue, look at this. So you have the shelving right above there. And then you see down here, the white oak floors continues this way. You have a designated desk right there, some stacked cabinetry right above that. You have the gold pot filler straight ahead right there, perfect for your coffee station. And then of course, right down here, perfect to fill up your dog bowls or cats, you know, depending on your personal preference. All right, so if you haven't, let me know so far in the comments what you think about this home. You have to do so. I welcome all of your feedback below. Okay, so now as we continue this way, this straight ahead will be your 3-car garage. And like I said, you have a detached workshop that you can take advantage of. And then of course, the long driveway for additional parking. So this is a 3-car garage, but you can see that you still have additional space right here. Maybe some of you may have some 4-wheelers or a golf cart or something of that nature, especially having 10 acres. I think you can appreciate that. So this would be opening up to essentially your mud area. You see that you have some more custom work in here, some custom millwork. And I love that. Now this is going to be entering your primary suite. Look at this, family. Very tranquil, and this was intentional. So you see you have your king size bed, your 2 additional nightstands, the vaulted ceilings inside of here, the tall baseboards. So this just gives you that nice feel, especially coming home from a long day, right? This is a spot where you want to be just to de-stress and just have a fantastic time. So you see you have the additional windows overlooking your backyard. You have your built-in pool, and the cool thing is what you see is what you get. Of course, the staging is separate. If it's something where you are interested in this house and you possibly want to purchase the staging, then make sure to reach out to the description below and then go ahead and work out some of the details. Okay, so this is the his closet. A lot of times, and I was even telling the seller this, that this is the size of the entire closet for some of these homes, right? But this is the his closet. You see that you have the paneled cabinetry doors right there. You got a closet island right here, dead center in the middle, your built-ins, your built-in drawers. You still have some cubby space available right above that. Then you're gonna have the soft close mechanism in here as well. So perfect for a his closet. And wait till you see the hers. I think that one may knock your socks off. So we'll continue back out here, and we are just getting started. So as we continue, you see your additional windows, but you do have your blinds. You have a sconce right there, perfect for your artwork. Right here to the right is the hers closet. Look at this, family. Oh my goodness. So if this is knocking your socks off, let me know in the comments. Give me a thumbs up. We truly appreciate it. Okay, so you have all these sconces. Then you have the glass pane cabinet doors, as you can see. So showcasing your entire wardrobe. You still have additional storage right above there. So you see you have plenty of space to store any accessories, additional shoes that you may need to work with. Love what I'm seeing so far. And look at that. You can see the entire depth. And then you're noticing the H-shaped design, right? So you have the common spaces more in the middle, right? And then the additional living spaces all along the other corners. Okay, so the white oak floors continues here. You have your his and hers sinks right there. Your sconces right in between, or right on the side of the mirrors. Look at this high-end countertops right above that, the custom cabinetry, and you're going to notice the cabinetry throughout, right? So everything was intentional, and I keep saying that because I want to make sure that you notice that. Okay, so now heading into our primary bath, you see your slider straight ahead right there, but look at this. Massive shower, zero threshold. You see you have the rain shower head right above there, your shower niche, your shower wand, again, plenty of space to work with. Then as we continue, look at this. So you have an additional sink right there, but your designated cosmetic area. So you have your own space to take advantage of if you want to. And then you have your seclusion and you don't have to worry about anybody rushing you. Just close that door and you are good to go. So you got your freestanding tub right here. Beautiful backsplash. Then of course, heading out here, I'll just give you a sneak peek before we head out there. Beautiful. So you have tile flooring, really unique chandelier and sconce right there. If you can see it, let me see if you can possibly see it. Hope that does it justice. Now continuing here, look at this. You have a picture window there. Massive space for your oversized washer and dryer. And you know how I feel about the counter space right above that. So a perfect view while you're folding your entire clothes and your laundry, right? Love to see it. Now, this is a neat feature as well. So let's say, for instance, if you're having conversations, right, with your loved one, you come over here and look at this. How often do you see that? How cool is that? So you got two toilets right there. You have the separation between the two, so you don't have to worry about privacy. But then, of course, you get your own designated toilet, so you don't have to worry about fighting on who dirtied the toilet, right? Thinking ahead. Love to see it. Okay, so let's go ahead and continue. Now that was this entire wing of the house, right? So you see that this one's separate. You close this door and you have the tranquility that a lot of folks are looking for. Now, as we walk back out here, give you a nice additional look of the kitchen. You see you have your recessed area with some additional shelving right there to the left. And there's so many spots to hang out and entertain. I mean, if it's something where you have a large family, this is perfect. Even if you don't have a large family, but you plan to, this is perfect. And really, this serves a lot of uses. Okay, now heading inside of here, this is the perfect game room. Really, I'm just giving you some ideas on what you can utilize this space for. Of course, I always welcome all your feedback in the comments below to let me know what you would use this as. But look at this space. So you have plenty of room. You see your L-shaped couch, then you have an additional designated sitting area, and look at the amount of walk room that you still have available. The white oak floors continues in here. Then you have a full kitchen right here, or let's say, for instance, a wet bar, right? Because you have your sink already built in. You have a paneled dishwasher, as you can see. Beautiful porcelain. Continuing up the backsplash here, then you got the beautiful cabinetry right here. shaker cabinetry with the gold hardware, as you can see. Then you have your coffee station. You can just close that off and have that discreet look that you may want. And then you have your paneled refrigerator. Look at that. Great choice. They have some Yoo-hoos in there, my favorite. So you have some additional cabinetry right above that, and then the stack cabinets. So love that. So if you're entertaining your guests, you want to serve them a drink or two, they have a bar along this area. And then let's say you have the family watching NFL Sundays, right? We're coming up on that pretty soon in the next few months. That'll be a perfect place for you. Okay, so now we're going to continue to this wing of the house so I can show you this. And as always, I always like to open up the doors for you. So you have your coat closet here. Now they're using this as a nice little workstation, right? But this is the full laundry room. So you have the laundry room inside of the primary suite, but then also this is the main one. Massive island right here in the middle, custom cabinetry, gorgeous knobs right here. Look at these gold knobs right here. Beautiful, stunning, setting the entire tone. So you have your nice designated workstation right there that you could take advantage of. Also, you have some cabinetry surrounding that area. And then this is going to be a bar where you can take advantage of too, because if you wanted to fold some clothes or get some work done or arts and crafts, you know, multifunctional, right? That's what I always say. And just how I mentioned, the counter space right above your washer and dryer, your built-in sink right there. And then the cabinetry, as well as the drawers, are going to surround the entire island itself. Then you got a nice little dog wash. Wow. Fantastic job. Love what I'm seeing. Okay. So before we continue, like I mentioned earlier in the video, each bedroom is going to have their own ensuite. So as we continue inside of here, look how massive this is. So this will be an additional bedroom, right? You have your ensuite. They have it designed more as a formal hangout spot or something of that nature. And that just gives you an idea of what you can do. I'm gonna pan this entire room. You have sliders in here. And like I keep saying, multiple access points to your backyard oasis. So continuing this way, you see that you have a pocket door right here. And then that one's you're gonna have an additional pocket door going into your water closet. But look at this. A ton of space. Then you have your walk-in shower right here. You got the stone shower floor, as you can see. And then the shower wand. And look how massive this walk-in closet is. And that's what a lot of folks are looking for, especially heading out this way towards Tennessee, right? Is you may want a ton of space, a ton of room to, let's say, raise your family, for instance. And if that's the case, this is going to be perfect for you. And a lot of times, you know, Tennessee has some of the best homes that you can even imagine. But this one tops the charts. Has to be my favorite house we've toured so far on this channel, and let me know if you agree. Okay, so continuing in the next bedroom, plenty of space. That's a queen size bed, but you can fit a king bed in here comfortably. You have carpet in here, plush carpeting, your ensuite straight ahead, and look at this. Got your pendant lights hanging down, the shiplap accents right there. Then the similar walk-in shower with your shower niche, and then the stone shower flooring. And before we continue, I just want you to see inside of your towel closet. So the one thing that I am getting from this one is the amount of storage that you get. Before we continue, let's make sure we don't miss the walk-in closet. Look at this. Extremely spacious, all your built-ins ready to go. And then the tall baseboards extends inside of there. Okay. So let's go ahead and continue to our fourth and final bedroom. So you're gonna have the double doors leading you inside of here, but look how roomy and spacious it is. My goodness, you have this built-in right here. Look at that. So nice little built-in desk that you can work with. And then I'll continue over here. So like I mentioned earlier too, you have the queen size bed right here, but you have so much space. And that one's not built in. However, you know, it's really discreet. So if you wanted to change that out for a nightstand, you could certainly do that. All right. So now you have a closet that's going to continue over there. So you have double doors leading you to both sides, as you can see. And then you already have your built-in racks to work with. And then now an additional pocket door right here. Let me open this for you so you can see. Very discreet, very nice. And look at this. Wow, great job. This one's gonna have the shower tub combo, but you're still gonna have the tile shower surround. But you have the beautiful brass spout. So like I mentioned, the thing that keeps coming to my head as well is just luxury. Luxury, right? So you have a powder bath right over here. Beautiful. So I tip my hat off to the sellers for executing this, bringing this to life, and just doing a fantastic job, I tell you. Okay, so now we're gonna head outside. Here we go. So imagine hanging out here with your family. They're in the pool having a great time. This is something you want in your house. Okay, so you have the wood ceilings right in here. Of course, like I mentioned, you have these columns right here. The natural wood, just, oh my goodness, setting the tone. You know, we saw that whenever we walked in. And look at this. Can you imagine your entire family hanging out here? So you see that this just hugs this backyard oasis as far as the house is concerned with that H-shaped design. And then as you continue, as I mentioned earlier, you had the board and batten. So you see that it's a little bit more prominent towards the back and the side of the house. And then of course, in the front, you have more of that shiplap material. But look at this. This is the perfect space to hang out, have the entire family with you. And then you have a massive amount of space with 10 plus acres back here. You have a lot to work with. Okay, so now heading over here, you have your outdoor kitchen. That's gonna be attached to your pool house or in-law suite, guest house. It's multifunctional again. You have your designated sitting area right here, perfect to entertain and have the entire family here. Love what I'm seeing. And this one is completely fenced. So you saw the fence in the front and then it's completely fenced towards the back as well. But let's get you inside of here. Now, let me know in the comments what you would do with this house. Goodness. You have a full kitchen in here, quartz countertops, the shiplap backsplash right there. You have your built-in island to entertain. So if your in-law is here, you can have this as more of a formal area, or that's actually a pull-out couch right there. So you pull out that bed right there. And then if you have some family in town for the weekend or for an extended period of time, they can certainly take advantage of that. But look at the color palette in here. Fantastic. You have raised ceilings, as you can see in here. So very airy and roomy. And then now continuing here, look at this. You got your shower tub combo, your toilet's right around there. But then you have access here. So if for some reason you have guests over and they just want to shower without tracking the water throughout the entire house, then you can use that as well. You have a little quick access door right there. Beautiful. Your designated cosmetic area here, your pendant lights hanging down, a picture window separating there, and then that pocket door. And then a ton of cabinetry available in here. And then opening this up, look at this. You have your own nice utility room. So that'll be for your stackable washer and dryer. Some additional cabinetry right above that. Wonderful. And then last but not least, certainly, I just want to show you the full depth of the back of the property. Okay. Look at this. Then you have the beautiful sconces right there. You have some area right here where if you wanted to add the trampoline, you can certainly do that. You see we have a swing set, just kind of hanging out, having a great time. And then it even continues a little bit more. But other than that, family, that was another beautiful luxury home tour. All right, Rankin family, that was it for this beautiful luxury home tour right here in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. Let me know in the comments below what you thought about this particular home. Is this something you could see yourself living in? Would you make any changes? If so, let me know in the comments below. Of course, if you want more information about this home or any home we showcase, reach out to the information in the description. Consider hitting that subscribe button so you don't miss a tour every single week. And I'll see you folks on the next property tour. Welcome back to another fantastic property tour, Rankin family. Today, we are located in Parkland, Florida, looking at another gorgeous luxury home for sale on the market as we speak. And I want to give a huge thank you to Sheila Heon with Century 21 for allowing us to tour her beautiful listing and bringing it to the channel. I'll make sure to leave all of the information in the description below. Now, starting on the exterior, this is a fantastic property. So not only do you have elbow room between your neighbors, but you're situated on over 1 acre. So I know those of you that absolutely want some space, I know you can really see it in the front yard, but you're definitely going to see it towards the back. Now, as far as the material on the exterior, you see that we have the concrete stucco. But what's interesting about this property is that you have 2 separate entryways, as you can see. So plenty of parking available. And then, of course, right here, you're going to have your carport. You have the wood slat on the top. Then you have a 3-car garage, but you can also add the stackable. So a lot of folks that are buying properties like this or of this magnitude may have supercars that they want to stack on top of each other to increase the storage. Now, as we enter in here, you see the modern sleekness. So the main thing to keep in mind whenever we walk into this property is you're going to see a lot of the modern updates, a lot of the modern fixtures and materials, and European inspired. So in just this driveway alone, I'd say you can easily fit 10 to 12 cars. And then of course you have that garage right over there as well. So I'm going to turn you around so you can see, so you have the privacy, as you can see, surrounded by nature. And this is on the north side of Parkland. So if you've been to Parkland, Florida before, you know how appealing this area is. So as we enter inside of here, you have the covered front porch. You have this massive pivot door right here. You see the tent surrounding the picture windows as well. And that's going to certainly be apparent as we walk inside of the property. But I want you to see how massive it looks in here. Just really grand and a staple for this property. Then as we enter, you see the modern light fixtures on the exterior here as we enter. And this one's already open for us so we can see. Wow. Absolutely stunning. I'll do a full pan and we'll start right here inside of the great room. So before we continue, I just want you to see the front right here. So that just kind of gives you a better idea of what we're looking at. Now I'm going to turn you around. So what's really cool about this property and neat is as we walk through this property, you're gonna see a lot of the floating ceiling designs, but then you also are gonna have the cove lighting, then the clear story windows, as you can see, they're certainly apparent on top, brings in all the natural light that you can imagine, but you still have the tent, which creates that element of privacy. So this is a very interactive floor plan. Like I mentioned quite often, I'll stand on this angle so you can see the full scope of this room. Now I want to take you to the kitchen because like I mentioned earlier, European inspired. So you have a full European kitchen, you have a high bar right here, then the extended island continues here, high-end countertops. As far as the flooring is concerned, you have Italian porcelain. So really just all around high-end materials. Right here you see our cabinet doors with the glass panes inside there. So if you wanted to add some decor, you can certainly do that. Then you have this extended wet bar. Look at this. The porcelain tile continues all the way to the ceiling. The floating ceiling design enters inside the kitchen. And as we go to the formal dining area, you'll see that. But look at this. So if you've had any experience with the European kitchen, you can certainly tell in here. Now, as far as the cabinetry is concerned, so you do have the custom cabinetry, stacked cabinets on top, then right over here, high-end range. Look at this. So you got the Wolf range, right, of course, right here. This is gonna be your 6-burner. Then you got an additional griddle. Then look at that, the wood slat range hood. Beautiful. Just an overall great property. Then you have your built-in Wolf microwave there. Got your sink inside of the island overlooking. So if your guests are hanging out here at the bar, you can have great conversations. Okay, so now look how sleek this looks. You got your Sub-Zero wine fridge. Can fit approximately 120 bottles inside of there. Then you got your paneled refrigerator and freezer. Look at this. Now this is what I'm talking about. This is a kitchen where you can spend so much time in here, especially if you have guests over. This is what you want to be dealing with. Now I'll open up some of these drawers. They are going to have that soft close mechanism. Just look at the depth in there. Now turn you around, and even the porcelain extends on the backsplash. Very beautiful. Okay, so now as we continue, now you have an additional formal sitting area here. So of course that might be more of your formal great room, or your, informal, maybe a family room or something. And then here, more of your formal area. So if you're having tense conversations for any reason whatsoever, this is gonna be the place where you wanna hang out. And then continuing this way, look at this. Surrounded by these massive windows, bringing in all the natural light. You see your outdoor retreat. We'll get to that a little bit later on. And I'll show you this angle too. So really just a fantastic property. The soaring ceilings enters inside of here again. And of course, if you close this pivot door, you'll have increased privacy again. So let's continue here. We'll head on this wing of the house, and then we'll go ahead and make our way around. So starting right over here, look at this, the first bedroom. So again, I'll pan you upward so you can see the floating ceiling with the cove lighting. Then you have LED lights in here illuminating this entire room. Then you head right here and look at this. So you got your own ensuite, high-end countertops. Then you have the LED mirror right there, and a picture window right above that, and then your walk-in shower. And you know how I feel about the shower niches. So we have the shower niche in here, the chrome shower wand, and the shower head. All of the full bathrooms, or walk-in showers, are 0 threshold. So that minimal look. And then turning it around here, you have a closet. So Adding in the racks, depending on your personal preference, whether you wanted to add the chrome racks, the wooden racks, you can choose to do those. Of course, you got your furnace right here. Now heading into this area, the Italian porcelain extends in here. So zero carpet whatsoever. Then as I pan up here, you got 12-foot ceilings with the floating ceiling design. So as mentioned, every single room that we're gonna see, or have the good fortune of seeing, is gonna have that. So I'll do a full pan, so a queen bedroom set would fit perfectly in here, maybe for the kiddos or something of that nature. But I love that you have this little side patio with the sliders. You can just hang out there, depending on who's gonna be staying in this room. And then you got your ensuite here. So it looks like right here, we have the porcelain countertops that extend here, and then your zero threshold full shower. And then each one of these are gonna have the chrome shower head with the shower wand and then that shower valve. But then also what's neat is that you see this chrome trim around the shower niche. Nice little detail that they added there. And then your closet here. So let me know in the comments below what you're thinking about this particular property. Is this something you could see yourself living in? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Now, right over here, you see our powder bath. Look at this. But really neat, I want you to see this. Some high-end material as far as the countertops is concerned. And then you have this accent lighting that illuminates this. And a nice, beautiful, sleek sink. All right, so now we're gonna head this way. Now you come down this hallway. As you saw, this is gonna be our primary suite. So extremely roomy, extremely spacious, very airy. And then look at that. You got your nice tall sliders right there. So if you wanted to head out to your backyard retreat, you can do that. I know you can get a sneak peek. You see there's 2 pickleball courts out there. But of course, depending if you like basketball or anything like that, you can always make the modification to accommodate you. But in here, you see floating ceiling design again. Then the LED lights. And then you got this flat panel right here. I'll push this in. You got some wall storage right here. Nice little wall closet. So easily accessible if you wanted to add your fresh bed sheets in there or possibly some clothes. And of course, let me know in the comments what you would add in here. And then also I should mention right above this, you have some additional stack cabinets. Okay. Now heading in here, this was unique. I haven't seen this before in a home, and let me know what you think about this. So you have this nice little intermediate area, something like that, right? Between you and the primary bath. So I know I take that back. I've seen it in one place and they had it kind of set up as more of a sanctuary or something like that, like a nice little sanctuary where you can just read and get away for the most part. So if you wanted to add some chairs in here and just have it as a nice little sitting area, you can do that. Cool thing is, inside of the primary bedroom, you have plenty of space to work with as having a designated sitting area. Look at this. Beautiful. Again, you have the floating ceiling design, LED lights, beautiful gold sconces. You got the tile accent that continues, or the tile wall rather, that continues all the way to the ceiling. And look at this. Beautiful. You even got the gold spouts right there. Very beautiful and sleek sink right there that we had seen inside of the powder bath as well. So in here, and even inside of the walk-in shower, folks, you have more of the double floating ceiling design. So really nice feature that I think they've done a great job of adding. But now you got your freestanding tub here. You know, we get comments all the time about the tub in the shower. So I know you can appreciate this fact. Then you have your smart toilet over here. So of course you got your water closet and then some more storage right over here to the left. But taking you in here, I wanted to get you a close up of that floating ceiling design. Look at that. Very impressive, massive shower bench. You know how we feel about that. Zero threshold again. You got the dual shower wands. It's a full steam shower here. Rain shower heads right above that and over here. So let's say you added that sauna to your home and then you come in here and get a nice steam shower, crispy clean, and you are certainly good to go. So I'm very impressed with this builder. They've done a great job, and let's continue our tour. So the one thing that you can certainly appreciate as well is that you see the magnitude as far as the windows are concerned, right? So you got the soaring ceilings, you got a ton of windows that really just accommodate this home, really stands out. Very lovely. Okay, so now we're gonna continue this way. I know we had the good fortune of seeing the kitchen. Now you want to see what's over here and we will not miss a thing. So right over here, you have your utility room, AKA a laundry room. So you got your Samsung oversized washer and dryers, plenty of cabinetry. Then you have quartz countertops right here, as you can see. And look at this. This is really unique. Every single door in here has this mechanism. So there's a magnet and essentially nice little door stopper. Really cool feature. Then inside of here, you got the flat panel cabinets, as you can see, with the soft close. And even in here. So extremely sleek. The wall-to-wall cabinetry, so an additional sink right over here. A ton of space to work with. Now I want to make sure that you have the good fortune of seeing the garage. Look at this. Very impressive as far as the size is concerned, right? So you got the side access door right over there, but you have a ton of space, and you see the soaring ceilings continues in here, as I mentioned earlier, where you could add the stackable, so you can stack your supercars in there. Okay, so now heading over here, you have a nice little prep kitchen, right? So you have an additional sink, your additional refrigerator, some increased counter space. Go ahead and prep some things over here, some more cabinetry that you can take advantage of, and the Italian porcelain continues. And then of course they have a door right here. If you have guests over, maybe you're not cooking or it's a tense conversation and you know, you're just hanging out here, you can close that off and then just create more of that sleek look. Okay, so now as we continue, let's go ahead and head over here. So now right here, you have your full bathroom. This is what they call a cabana bath, right? Because you have that access to your backyard retreat. So if you're, you know, taking a dip in the pool, having a good time, you just head over here, a couple steps away and rinse off, and you don't have to worry about tracking anything throughout the house. And of course, the same thing over here. Beautiful. So now we're going to head over here. And then there's speakers throughout the entire house. So you can go ahead and connect to it via Bluetooth and then have your favorite music playing as much as you like, really. Okay, so heading in here, make sure you stay tuned for our separate guest suite so you can see that. And then of course, I'd love to hear your thoughts as far as the design is concerned. But now, this will be your perfect media area. So the builder actually intentionally blacked those out right there. So if you wanted to have a nice, you know, time away, right, and watch your favorite movie, you can do so without the sun interrupting you. The floating ceiling design, you got a wet bar over here, a beverage fridge, some more custom cabinetry here, and top of the line countertops. So if you wanted to add the theater seats in here, You have a ton of room to work with, or maybe you just wanted to add a cozy couch, you can certainly do that. Now, what's interesting is if you wanted to possibly make this, an additional room or maybe a study, that'd be perfect because this is a full bathroom. I had mentioned though that if for some reason you're watching your favorite movie and it's, very tense and you're just sweating, you go ahead and walk a couple feet and you can shower. Just click pause on there and you can continue that movie, no problem. All right. So now let's go ahead and continue this way. So we already had the good fortune of seeing that. Now we're going to head down here. The Italian porcelain continues here. You have this little recessed area all along the property. You'll notice that it gives the illusion of baseboards, but a nice little sleek design that I know you can appreciate. Now head in here, next bedroom. You have your ensuite. And then you got these sliders, the floating ceiling. Each one of these bedrooms, you could fit a queen bed set in here comfortably. In here, I'll make the bold claim that a king bedroom set would fit in here comfortably. Full walk-in closet, as you can see. Now the first two, the closets were not massive, of course. They weren't massive, where you can just walk in there willy-nilly, but at the same time, you still have plenty of space. But I appreciate that this one was a full walk-in closet. You got dual sinks in here, your 2 LED mirrors, as you can see, porcelain tile, accent walls, 0 threshold. The Italian porcelain looks like it continues in here, the sleek drain, and then the chrome fixtures. All right, so I have to remind you again. Oh, and then also before we continue, right here you have a nice little recessed area as well. So if you wanted to add a desk there or just add that dresser right there, you can certainly do that. And then of course, heading down here. So this is gonna be perfect for, massive families or folks that like to entertain, or, quite frankly, if it's something where you want to just buy a property of this magnitude and you have the luxury of doing so, then you can certainly do that. So a lot of uses for this beautiful property. Now you got your walk-in closet right over there. And look at this. I just want you to see every single detail possible. A lot of these builders, of course, put a lot of thought into their design and they really take pride in their product. So I tried to be as thorough as possible so we don't miss anything. So continuing out here, I know you can appreciate the space that you get between your neighbors, of course. And like I mentioned a little bit earlier, this is on the north side of Parkland, so very desired area. One of those things where folks actually seek this area out when available. So now heading over here, this is a perfect recreational room, children's retreat. You can make this into a game room, or really, depending on your preference, a massive study too. I don't think you would do that, but you'd have a dang good view, I'll tell you that. So really the possibilities are endless. I just like to give you ideas of what is possible. And of course, I always encourage you to let me know in the comments what you think. Okay, so now heading outside. As mentioned, just under 1.1 acres. So you can see the full scope even in the backyard. And then of course you have plenty of space even in the front yard to work with. So now heading right out here, you see you have your outdoor kitchen. Perfect place. You got an additional refrigerator right there, built-in grill, high grill. You got an additional sink, as you can see, your pool and spa to entertain and take advantage of here. And look how much room you have to work with. So you have that spiral staircase leading you up to the second level. We'll go up there in just a second, but I just wanted you to see how much room you have to work with. Look at this. So if you wanted to add this as a basketball court, you can do that. Maybe you wanted to do a little bit of tennis, you can do that as well. And then you still have some space available if you wanted to add that playground or possibly, you know, a trampoline or something like that. So before we head upstairs and we wrap up the tour, of course, I want you to see the full guest house. So now you have multiple access points. So this is, of course, going to head into your full bath. You got the zero threshold again. You got your shower niche. Got your vanity right there. You got recessed lights surrounding that, depending on what time of day that you're utilizing this. Now heading in here, look at this. This is going to be your perfect living area with your kitchen over here, of course. So if you wanted to use this as an in-law suite, this is going to be a perfect place for you. The flat panel cabinetry, as you can see, with your massive sink, picture window right above that. And like I always mention, I always got to, you know, let's say, just got to mention this, that this is sold as is. The furniture will be for sale as well, for the right price, of course, and the right offer. But you can move in here as seen on the current video. And of course, as always, check the price in the description and the title, because it may change and is subject to change. So I don't want to mislead you whatsoever. So when in doubt, check out the title. But look how much room you have in here. You have the sliders, queen bedroom set would fit perfectly in here. And I want to also mention they are doing a few more touch-ups, so that way you will get the best product possible, as if this wasn't enough for you. So let's go ahead and head to the second level real quick. So this was a one-level home, but of course they did add the exterior balcony, which I know you can appreciate. So if you wanted to entertain even further, you can certainly do that. Or if you wanted to make some announcements, you just head up here. And then of course that'll give you a better scope of the entire plan. Almost there. All right, here we go. So the concrete stucco extends all the way around. So in the front and the back. So you can see the clear story windows there. You head down this way and look how much room you have to entertain folks. So you have your full patio equipment up here. You can hang out and have a fantastic time with your guests, friends, family, all the above. And other than that, family, that was another beautiful property tour. All right, Rankin family, that was it for this beautiful luxury home tour right here in Parkland, Florida. Let me know in the comments below what you thought about this particular property. Is this something you could see yourself living in? Would you make any changes? If so, let me know in the comments below. Of course, if you want more information about this home or any home we showcase, reach out to the information in the description. Consider hitting that subscribe button so you don't miss a tour every single week. And I'll see you folks on the next property tour. Welcome back to another wonderful property tour, Rankin family. Today, we are back again in Nashville, Tennessee, looking at another gorgeous luxury home for sale. And I want to give a huge thank you to the listing agents, Lisa Landon and Cody Land with the Lux Collective for making this tour possible. I'll be sure to leave all of the information in the description below. Now, starting on the exterior, family, you see that we have a wonderful color palette. You have the high-pitched roofs. You are going to have the brick coupled with the siding and the natural stone. Then straight ahead, you may notice the PVC brackets, adding a lot of architectural character to this property. Now, the home is located in West Mead Farm, so a highly desired community about 10 minutes away from downtown Nashville. So if you need to be in close proximity, this is going to be perfect for you. Now, you are going to be situated on half an acre, so plenty of space in the front as well as the back. And of course, there is a lot of new development happening around here. Now, I'll give you a good glimpse of the front yard. You do have the beautiful lush landscaping. You have your 3-car side-loaded garage. That's going to continue that way. We'll see the inside of that in just a second. But the cool thing is you see this little bump out area. This is the Butler's pantry, more of like a working pantry. We're going to see that in just a second. Brand new fencing throughout, so you have the privacy that you really want inside of a home. But look at the windows itself. So you're gonna have high-end windows with the grids inside. You have that outdoor gas lantern. You know, being out in Florida for some time, I swear I missed those right there. So of course, heading back to Nashville, wow, I always love the outdoor gas lantern. So as soon as we enter inside the covered front porch, look how neat this is. So the brick continues in here. The natural stone is gonna, of course, be on our floor, but more importantly, look at that. The painted wood porch ceilings. Really nice touch. And then of course, as we continue in here, you see the arch front door. But let's get you inside so you can see this beautiful home. All right. Wow. So the first thing you may notice, we enter inside of this cozy foyer, right? And I'll show you the front door from the inside of the home. But look how neat this is. So of course, we'll go to that hallway a little bit later on. I want to show you the main areas of the first floor before we continue. So I'm gonna pan you around slowly and head to our formal dining. Look at this. So you have a fireplace in here surrounded by the natural stone. You see the crown molding, beautiful light fixture right above our dining room table. And of course, the staging enhances this. Oh my goodness. So you will notice that you do have a dry bar over here. So perfect for entertaining, especially we talk about quite often having the family inside of the home. This is going to be perfect for that, right? But not only that, you have that quick access to your kitchen. Then you will notice some molding inside of our baseboards as well. So that's going to continue throughout the entire home. And then let's go ahead and head to the great room as if we're entering for the first time. Wow. Oh my goodness. So you have the hardwood flooring continuing this way. And then look at this. Wow. Beautiful vaulted ceilings with the exposed beams. Nice cozy fireplace here. And then look at the sliders. So inside of the sliders, you have more of like the French windows. So with the, of course, the grids inside, but you will notice the natural wood trim. So there's been a lot of natural wood, enhancing this home, and that was intentional as well. Then you will also notice a lot of custom millwork throughout this entire property. Now I'm going to show you from this end the size of this room. So as far as the dimensions are concerned, you're going to have 21 by 22. So that'll just give you a better perspective. Then you can see straight ahead in our firebox, you have that herringbone pattern. And then of course, as we continue here, you have the nice discreet floor registers. But I'm going to pan you to the kitchen. Look at this. Goodness gracious. So you're going to have custom cabinetry. You have the two-tone marble countertops. Then of course you have a double island, so an additional prep island over here that you can take advantage of. Then as we continue along, you're going to notice inset cabinetry, so flushed and really just that minimalist feel that you really want, or minimal feel. So as I pan you over here, you will notice the two-tone cabinetry, again, all inset. And then you have the waterfall countertops. So you have that arch going up there, right there where our backsplash is, all Thermador appliances. So all high end, the best money can buy. Look at our beautiful pendant lights here. Get you a close up on that. Perfect. Now you have your farmhouse sink as well. Then you are going to notice the brass faucet and then brass hardware coupled with the custom cabinetry. So you can imagine doing the dishes, a nice, cozy, intimate feel. And then inside of here, you have the stacked cabinetry, right? But not only that, you have the paneled refrigerator and freezer. And then let me open up some of these drawers for you so you can see how much storage you have available. So you see how it inset right there, so it's flush, giving that nice, beautiful look. Then right here, Thermador range. You have 6 burners and then the griddle, of course. And then look at this, your range hood, you have that natural wood extending inside of here. So matching the trim. So nice, beautiful details. I really just wanted to point that out because they've done a fantastic job. So the brass hardware continues in here. So you remember, as we tour some of these Nashville's homes, I can't talk, you had the separate refrigerator and freezer. And you know, I got mixed reviews about that. So of course, I welcome all of the feedback inside of the comments, but I think it's a neat touch. Then you will notice the marble countertops continues this way. That's the quick access to your formal dining. And then as I mentioned earlier in the video, here's our Butler's pantry. Look at this. So you have the same countertops in here, the inset cabinetry, you got additional shelving right there, you got your sink. And the cool thing is, look at the windows surrounding this. So you have the perfect view of anybody entering the home, announced or unannounced, right? So you don't have to worry about that. And then of course you have a ton of storage still available. But the best thing about this home, you know, we always talk about it, right? As far as location is concerned, because oftentimes you'll see a home on YouTube and then you might look at the price and you're looking at the house itself and then that's how you're judging it, right? But a lot of times it's location, 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 right? And it's hard to really justify that on YouTube unless you're specifically at the house and you see the proximity to amenities and, you know, or proximity to downtown. But I always say, if it's something where you need to be in close proximity, then you may want to be, you know, in a nice community like a Green Hills or a Westmead, something like that. But anyway, look at this. So of course, this is our utility room, as known as the laundry room, right? So the inset cabinetry continues in here, but I've noticed that throughout this home, they coupled the brass with the champagne bronze. So in here, you will notice that champagne bronze. And sometimes on the video, it may look like a rose gold or something like that, but it's a really nice material. All right, so we always talk about that, the counter space right above our washer and dryer. You still have some additional cabinetry in here and all of it is gonna be inset. Of course, the tile flooring extends here. Then this is gonna be your open mudroom. You can see, so this will be entering in from your 3-car side-loaded garage. You got the gold knobs and that was on the front as well. But look at this. So you go down these steps right here, and then you have your 3-car oversized garage. You got your tankless water heater over there, and then the shiplap exterior. And then you may have noticed too, down that hallway, we'll get to it in a second because that's how you get to the second level. You see the shiplap wainscoting. Really nice feature. Okay. So as we continue down this way, I love this long hallway leading you to your primary suite. Look at this. This is your first and only half bath inside of this room. But the cool thing is you will have 5 bedrooms, 5 full baths. So I like how spacious this is. At the inset, custom cabinetry right there. Beautiful gold sconces as well as mirror frame. And then as you head this way, look at these nice large windows overlooking your backyard. So like I said, you're on half an acre. So you see that you still have plenty of space in the backyard and the front to work with. All right, let's do a full pan and then we'll go ahead and see. So you have this beautiful light fixture coming down from your ceilings, right? You see the exposed beams as well. That's a king size bed, your 2 nightstands, your nice large windows right here, bringing in a ton of natural light. Wood flooring, 0 carpet inside of this home, if I mentioned that. Then you, of course, you got the discrete floor register, so plenty of space to work with. And love what I'm seeing. So as far as the dimensions in here, you're gonna have, it's gonna be 17 by 17. So that'll give you a better perspective on the size of this room. And then it looks like, as far as the ceiling height, 16-foot ceilings. So nice and airy and extremely roomy. Okay, so heading to our primary bath. Look at this. Look how elegant it looks inside of here. The crown molding, the custom cabinetry, the beautiful countertops. Then as I pan you around, look at this. What a perfect place to add that freestanding tub, right? Got your beautiful light fixture hanging down, nice window with the grids, but perfect location, right? You don't have to worry about the window extending down, taking into account your privacy. So of course, right over here, you got your water closet. Turning this way, look at this. Now there is a light right here. I didn't turn it on, but you do have your shower bench. Beautiful tile shower surround. Look how elegant that looks. Let me go ahead and turn that over. Okay, that'll give you a better perspective. You got dual shower niches here. Then that champagne bronze shower head and shower valve. Beautiful. So what's also neat about this home is that you do have the his and hers closets. So of course this is your his closet, but look at the storage extending all the way to the ceiling. Plenty of built-in drawer space. Some more shelving to take advantage of. Had your shoes there, all the racks you can imagine. Wow. And then I just love the fact that they already added it in, because a lot of times, you know, when you see some of these beautiful homes, and then when you may have to make some modifications after you move in, you know, it sometimes may leave a bad taste in your mouth. I mean, really depending on what it is. If it's something where you want to, you know, move the bedroom on the opposite side, okay, we might have to move on to another home. But I love the fact that you really don't need to do anything. But heading inside of here, this is your hers closet. Of course, the only addition I think would have been great, of course, is a built-in window bench right there. But you let me know if you agree. But other than that, you already have your closet island dead center in the middle to work with, your pendant light hanging down, the shelving from floor to ceiling. And of course, that extends over here as well. Extremely spacious. Oh my goodness. So, of course, I mean, with this home being just under 6,000 square feet, and I mean just under, you know, 7 square feet extra, you would have had 6,000. You see how roomy these extra rooms are, like the closets, the bathrooms, even the powder bath. So far I love what I'm seeing. Okay, so that was the entire main rooms, at least on the first level. We'll go ahead and go down that hallway. Let me do one more pan. And I'll get you a close-up on the fireplace. So you have like this plaster material on the fireplace. And of course, nice little mantle to take advantage of. And then of course, and I really want to hear your feedback as far as the natural wood trim. Do you like that addition? I think it's neat. I always love when we go into some of these homes and you see new things that you haven't seen in quite some time. Okay, so as you're entering in the property for the first time, you head to the right. This is this wing of the house, right? So as I mentioned, you have the shiplap wainscoting Then you have the painted ceilings in here, beautiful light fixtures. Your sconce right there, there to the left. They even painted the crown molding itself. And then we continue down this way. You got your coat closet. Even painted this door and this one. And this will be a perfect guest suite. So wood flooring extends in here, the crown molding. They have the neutral colors inside of here. But you will have the separate walk-in closet and bathroom. Let me show you the walk-in closet first and foremost. So perfect for a guest suite. And then as I turn you around, look at this. Okay, so that champagne bronze faucet is in here. You have the gold mirror frame and the gold sconce. Look at this. You have this fluted cabinetry right here. Really neat. And then a unique tile flooring inside of here. But this one's gonna have your full walk-in shower. So the tiling is extending all the way from floor to ceiling, your dual islands. Nice little shower bench right there. And then the champagne bronze. So like I said, you're gonna notice the combination between the gold, the brass, and the champagne bronze. And I always recommend too, you know, if you haven't gotten the chance to actually see it in person, you know, sometimes if you can get into these houses, fantastic, maybe an open house or two. But more importantly, you can always go to a Home Depot or a Lowe's or, you know, your local hardware store and take a look at some of these materials and just find out what you like best for yourself, because you never know. Even if you're not in the market for buying one of these homes today or in the future, you may want to add that down the road. Okay, so coming in this room, you got a little loft area. So that's what's cool. You will have 2 utility rooms. So we'll see that in just a second, which is to my left. Now heading in here, a fully ensuite bedroom, extremely roomy and spacious. A king bedroom set would fit in here, but most likely you will just add that queen bedroom set. And again, the separate closet right here. I like that grid right there. Looks pretty neat. Has more of that European element to it. That's what it looks like. And then in here, they already added the outlet towards the top so you can hang that flat screen TV without any issues whatsoever. And then head in here, they continued the crown molding. So you'll see that crown molding right above there, if you can see that. And then the similar walk-in shower. You know, it's interesting too, because I've been looking at some of the comments recently, and I think like the #1 comment that I've gotten is that I'm so glad that you're out of Florida, because I got tired of the Florida home. So I do apologize. We stayed there a little longer than anticipated, you know. Of course, it started getting a little sunny and things like that. So hopefully you did enjoy some of the homes. But it's good, like I said, to be back in Nashville. Okay, so heading inside your utility room, you already have the built-in cubby space, right? Some built-in counter space as well. Some additional storage. But it's always nice, you know, if you can, inside of your home, have 2 utility rooms, depending on, you know, the size of your family and things like that. But definitely a nice addition. Okay, so heading inside of here, like I said, with 5 bedrooms, 5 full bathrooms, all the bathrooms or bedrooms are en-suited. But each one I'm noticing, and we'll see our last one, that you have this separate closet and bathroom. Look at this, okay. So as far as the color is concerned, I was looking it up. It's an off-white color, more like a creamy color. It's really neat, but of course, you know, with Sherwin-Williams, oh my goodness, you would have to spend a decade to study to know, you know, from the naked eye. But I'm working on some things to be able to identify those colors for you, you know, just during the video itself, because I know it can be helpful and it's always nice to just know. But if I'm not 100% sure, I try not to, you know, mention it all just because I don't want to lead you astray. Okay, so now heading down this hallway. So you will notice a bunch of storage available, right? You have storage here, some additional storage right over here. And then you're gonna notice this cool bonus room. You know, really the possibilities are endless. And you'll see it, and it's right behind me. We'll see that in a second. But look at this, an additional storage room. So you will not have to worry about any storage whatsoever inside of this home. And then heading in here, look how cool this is. So you have like this vaulted ceiling right above that. And then like maybe like a designated sitting area over here. Of course, you're probably just gonna add that bedroom set right there, your nightstands where those windows are. But then if you come over here, if you added the dresser down the road or something like that, it really just depends on if you're gonna use this as a bedroom, right? But you're gonna see the bonus room where you have a ton of other possibilities to work with. Okay, so this bathroom is connected to this bedroom, as you can see, but this is gonna be our first and only shower tub combo. But you got the nice deep tub right there, beautiful champagne bronze, and that's gonna continue this way. And so you head right out here, and then look at this. So this is gonna be a perfect recreation room, or possibly, you know, a game room or something like that. This is gonna be the perfect spot. I mean, really the possibilities are endless. But we had seen this on another Nashville home some months back, where you had a separate door separating between the two, and then you have this nice little media area. A lot of times you may see in other homes that this area would be unfinished, right? Especially on this channel, we've seen that. But I love that they finished that, so it looks like a nice cozy media room. And then they added the carpet inside of just this area right here. So hence why it could be a children's retreat or a media room. And I always welcome your feedback on what you would have. And then I do apologize. Earlier I did say that there was zero carpet, but you do have carpet just in this area. But I love how spacious it is. This will be perfect. If you add those blinds right there, black that out, this will be a perfect media area. You can fit the theater seats, that whatever you need, really, quite frankly, if you wanted to do that. But then you have this little area here that you can take advantage of too. Okay, so that was the entire just under 6,000 square feet, right? So, and just to give you a better perspective, on the main floor, so on the first level, there's a total of 3,285 square feet. So 3,285 square feet, and upstairs was 2,708. So for my analyticals out there, that may help you a little bit. For other folks that really don't care about the numbers, they just want to get the feel, then that won't mean much to you. But let's get you outside here. Like I said earlier, these sliders have the grids inside. I'll open this up for you. And you do have your outdoor fireplace. So this will be your third fireplace. So if you recall, you had the first one inside of the formal dining, you have the other one in the great room, and your last one outside. So you have the herringbone pattern firebox again, the natural stone surrounding there. The brick continues this way. You have the custom wooden columns, as you can see. So you're gonna have an iron fence right there to the right, and then your privacy fence straight ahead. But that's, you know, the iron fence has been pretty common, but I love the fact that there's plenty of space. You see the flagstone. Look at this. So I love that the patio extends this way. You even have an additional walkway right here, and then you see the fresh sod outside. And they even added some nice little trees right there, right along there. And then the yard continues that way. So, you know, we always talk about it, whatever you want to add as far as for the children out here, or whoever, you have plenty of space to work with. But other than that, family, that was another beautiful luxury home tour. All right, Rankin family, that was it for this beautiful luxury home tour right here in Nashville, Tennessee. Let me know in the comments below what you thought about this particular home. Would you make any changes? Would you take it as is? If that is the case, let me know in the comments below. Of course, if you want more information about this home or any home we showcase, reach out to the information in the description. Consider hitting that subscribe button so you don't miss a tour every single week. And I'll see you folks on the next property tour. Welcome back to another fantastic property tour, Rankin family. Today, we find ourselves in Delray Beach, Florida, looking at this gorgeous luxury home for sale. And I want to give a huge thank you to the listing agent, Fran Hall Finch with Sirhan, for allowing us to take a tour of her beautiful listing and bringing it to the channel. I think this one may knock your socks off. Now, starting on the exterior, the first thing I love is the length. Wonderful stucco on the exterior. You're going to have a 3-car garage right over there to the right. Beautiful second story balcony on the front facing exterior and the massive covered front porch. Now, as we enter, the first thing you are noticing is the beautiful landscaping and great curb appeal. Now, you see this home is equipped with an abundance of windows right here, bringing in all of that natural light that you really want inside of a luxury home. Now, whenever you enter in here, you're going to have the 12-foot ceilings. You have some ceramic wood-like detail on the exterior as well, and that's going to continue on the floor inside of our covered front porch. Look how gorgeous this is. I appreciate the fact that they even staged the porch, so it just gives you a better idea of this layout. Now, you are going to have these massive windows even going inside right here. So you're going to have the front door with the iron exterior and the glass pane in the front. But let's get you inside so you can see this beauty. All right. So immediately whenever you walk into the foyer, look at this beautiful sitting area right here. So this just gives you a grasp of how much room you have in the foyer. So you're going to have 12-foot ceilings inside of here. And then as you walk straight inside of the great room, you're going to have 25-foot ceilings. Beautiful, tall picture windows, bringing in a ton of natural light, again, even inside of the interior. Now, you have the great room kitchen combination, but I just want to give you a quick glimpse, but we're going to make our way around the perimeter of the property so we don't miss a thing. So right here, immediately when you walk into the left, you are going to have, this is a bedroom, but they have it staged as a study. You are going to have 12-foot ceilings inside of here. You see the beautiful windows right there. Look at that. So the desk in the sitting area just gives you a grasp of how much room is in here. You're going to have all natural wood, and that's exciting. Look how much space you have in here. The tall ceilings just gives it the roomy and spacious feel. So really, the one thing that's come into my mind is abundance. All right. So inside of here, this is, of course, your closet. If you use this as a study, depending if you work from home, then really you can just use that maybe for a filing cabinet, a shredder, something of that nature. But you can always add the racks if you choose to use this as a bedroom. Now, this one is going to have an ensuite. One thing I can appreciate about this is not only you have your walk-in shower, but they equipped it with the shower bench. You got your shower niche again, a picture window right there. And then as I turn you around, you see the length of the mirror. You got your sconces Right over here, a beautiful vanity with custom cabinetry and quartz countertops. Look how stunning that is. Really great curated materials in here. And then of course the curated furniture just enhances the appeal. So right over here, you're gonna have your furnace, but let's make our way to the main areas. Wow. So you have your 10-foot sliders here. Look at that indoor-outdoor feel. What a wonderful feel inside of this home. Now, I'm gonna pan you all the way up. Love the tray ceilings with the exposed beams, adding a ton of character, a timeless feel. Then you have your beautiful chandelier again, and just look how roomy and spacious this is. Love what I'm seeing so far. You see these large windows again. And just look at the room that you have in this. So a really interactive floor plan, really cozy feel, and just extremely elegant. So coming over here, this is of course going to be your powder bath. The cool thing about this one is you have a quick access door to your outdoor living. So most folks that are just being entertained, they just come straight into that door right there. Beautiful accent wall, floor to ceiling. Look at the sconce inside the mirror. Beautiful chandelier right above our toilet. That just screams luxury. Beautiful. Okay, so over here, they have it situated as an exercise room, but this is a flex room. So if you were to use that first bedroom as an actual bedroom, then you go ahead and use this as a study. If you plan to use that one as a study, then this is a perfect yoga room. You could use it as a prayer room, children's retreat. Possibilities are endless. And the raised ceilings extends in here. And then also I should point out beautiful baseboards with the molding inside, or the little recessed area indentation, just adding that timeless look. Now, from here, you can get a better look of the foyer. Look at the floor to ceiling windows. Oh my goodness. What a fantastic job they've done. Okay, so heading inside of the kitchen, you have the dual islands inside of here. Beautiful cabinetry. Look at that. So you got the shaker cabinets, stack cabinets on top again, Wolf appliances, Sub-Zero fridge, Miele dishwasher. You also have an additional dishwasher, and that one's gonna be Cove. So all high-end appliances. And then as I pan you around here, you got the paneled refrigerator. I'll show you that in just a second. Your prep island over here to the left, your primary island as well, and then the additional sink overlooking the backyard. So we always had, comments or talks about the sink inside of the island, right? Well, now you get the best of both worlds, that sink over there. So if you're prepping things, use this one. If you're washing dishes, you can certainly use that one. Look how open and beautiful this floor plan is. You got the double Wolf oven right over here. Then you got a 6-burner Wolf gas cooktop right here with the griddle. Beautiful custom range hood right above that. Look at that. Plenty of storage. I'm going to show you that in just a second. But look at this. Here you go with your Sub-Zero refrigerator. You can see how much storage and space that you have in there. Now look at this. As you open this up, you got your hidden walk-in pantry. Now, they're still doing some final touches on this one. In fact, they're still in the process of doing that now, but this is currently for sale as we speak. So you can go under contract and then of course, purchase this property and close within, 21 days, 30 days, depending on your personal time frame. Okay, now, the one thing I love about this home is this formal dining area. Look how spacious this is. You have an 8-seater dining table, and look how much space and walk room you still have available. Now you got the exposed beams running parallel with one another and the tray ceilings. You got 3 windows right over here, bringing in some more natural light. The tall baseboards even extends in here. And look at this. So really what they call that multi-generational living. This is certainly apparent inside of this home. Now I love that. Also, I should mention right here, you have a wine fridge built in to your island right there. Goodness gracious. Now, as we take a right over here, Beautiful sconces, just setting the tone. Right here to the right is gonna be your 3-car garage. You will have the epoxy flooring, but you still have that roomier feel in here. So depending on the size of your vehicles, you possibly could add additional cars inside of there. Okay, so the natural wood continues over here. Then you got an additional area right here. Now this will be coming into your utility room right here. Look how much space you have in here. Plenty of space for an oversized washer and dryer. You got your quartz countertops. You got your flat panel cabinetry inside of here. And then of course, the additional sink. So beautiful interior, beautiful furniture, and just the details speak for themselves. Okay, so this will be heading over to your primary retreat. We'll see that in just a second. The one thing I love about the primary retreat is that you have your own private sliders inside of here. So the wood flooring continues in here. You don't have to worry about any carpet whatsoever. Zero carpet. You got your furnace again right there. But before we take a look at the additional rooms, let me show you this. Wow. Not to mention, it's a fantastic day to do a property tour. 12-foot ceilings, then you got the tray again, 10-foot sliders. So you can open this up any time of the day, dusk or dawn, or anywhere in between. That's a king size bed, your 2 nightstands, your dresser, just a fantastic layout. Now, the furniture is negotiable, right? And I always put the price of the home inside of the title and the description. And a lot of times I don't mention it in the video because obviously things change all the time. So I want to just be as transparent as I can with my audience. Now, look at this. So you got your wet room straight ahead. You got 0 threshold, quartz countertops in here, his and her sink. Then you got a designated cosmetic area over there. Look at that, and you already have your built-ins. So if you wanted to close the cabinet doors right there, you can just have that sleek look, but you know that that will be your dedicated area. I'll pan you up, beautiful light fixtures, your sconces inside the mirror, towel closet right there. Nice freestanding tub, look at this. Woo! If this doesn't scream luxury, I really do not know what does. Maybe you can educate me, but you got your dual shower heads in here, dual shower wands, 2 shower benches. Again, plenty of space to work with in here. Then of course your shower niches on both sides. I'm gonna show you this right here. Beautiful tile work. Just overall, a really great home. You got your smart toilet over there where your water closet is. You're gonna have the his and hers closets. Like I said, there are, you can add the racks in here, your built-ins, depending on what you choose to do. But that's the difference between a home like this for sale and a model home, is that what you see, you can customize it before you close, or you can just go ahead and take it as is. But really, I want you to pay attention to the size of the closets itself. Look how roomy it is. The natural wood extends in here, excuse me. Look at that. So plenty of space in both the closets, so you don't have to worry about one being, you know, a tad bit larger or something where it's not practical. Both of those are certainly practical. Okay. Then I should mention, before we head to the second level, look at the beautiful exposed beams in here. Really gives that architectural feel that you're really looking for. And quite frankly, that's the one of a kind, or I've never seen that whatsoever. And then of course that was intentional as well. Something that is timeless. All right, so you got your beautiful sconces right here. Look at this gorgeous light fixtures, fantastic. The 25-foot ceilings continues up here, so it really gives more of that roomier feel. Then on the second level, you're gonna have 10-foot ceilings, at least in the rooms itself. But look at that, beautiful large picture windows. Again, you saw in the front that we did have the front facing balcony. Now you have a nice large iron door out here. It is locked, but I'll just show you the room that you get out here. Now, I also want to mention to you, You have private access to Lake Ida. You got your own private dock right there that you share. There's 4 slots that you can take advantage of. And it's only, gosh, 50 feet, 50 to 75 feet. So close proximity. You can just get out there, ride some jet skis, have a good time, some fun in the sun. Now here, we're gonna have our shower tub combo, ceramic wood-like tile shower surround. Very elegant. That's gonna go or continue all the way to the ceiling. Beautiful sconces, your flat panel cabinetry with your quartz countertops, and that natural wood extends up here. Love that. Okay, now heading to our 3rd bedroom. Look how spacious this is. So you're gonna have 2 bedrooms down, 3 up. You got your sliding door heading into your closet. But look how roomy this is. So that's gonna be a shared bathroom right there. And here, a queen size bedroom set would fit perfectly in here, possibly even a king, but the queen would just be perfect. Got your storage closet right here. So love this loft area. Then as you head down this hallway, look at this. Beautiful sconces. Tell me that doesn't just set the tone. What a fantastic job. Okay, now heading into the next bedroom. Look how roomy it is. So each bedroom has a ton of space. So they do have the outlets inside of the baseboards, as you notice right here. So it gives it that discreet look. If you plan to, hook up a lamp or anything of that nature, you don't have to worry about, the cords all in the way and going to Amazon and having to find a discreet cover. Now heading over here, let me show you this. Look how beautiful this is. Wow. Wonderful. Quartz countertops, flat panel cabinets, nice mirror frame right there. You got a sliding glass door. Look how spacious this is. So like I said earlier, that multi-generational living is the epitome of this. And let me know in the comments if I'm going too fast for you or too slow. I'd love to hear your thoughts. As always like to get that feedback from you. All right, now as we head over here, so you have 3 doors inside of this hallway. So this will be your furnace. And I always like to open every single door because sometimes whenever you're watching a video and maybe the one that's doing the video tour isn't opening some of those doors, then that mystery continues and you never get to fulfill or answer that question. All right, so this will be your 5th and final bedroom. Extremely spacious, a ton of room available inside of here. Again, the tall baseboards continues, all wood flooring inside of each and every bedroom and common area, except for, of course, the bathrooms, where we have the beautiful tile. So again, if you wanted to add the floor to ceiling racks inside of here, the wooden chrome, you can do that. And of course, everything is negotiable. So depending on how you prefer to have the his and hers closets situated downstairs, then, they can obviously make some changes for you. You got your beautiful vanity, beautiful sconce. And here you got that custom cabinets, or those custom cabinets, rather. And you got your walk-in shower. So let me know in the comments what you've thought about this particular floor plan. Is this something you can see yourself living in, right? Close proximity to the beach. Again, Lake Ida right there. A gorgeous luxury home that's been meticulously, curated and just fine-tuned to maximum benefit and extremely practical. So can you imagine every single day walking out here to your family and friends? I don't think you can get much better than this, folks. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the outdoor living. So there's 4 separate lots right here. 2 of them are already sold right now at the time of this recording. So you're gonna have some fantastic neighbors. Now look at this. You got your outdoor Coyote grill. Look how large that is. Then you got your Coyote stainless steel range hood, wood ceiling here. You got an additional sink right there. This looks like the natural quartzite counters. Then it continues up the backsplash. The stucco surrounds back here, the 10-foot sliders you can see. Then you got your little cabana area over there. Outdoor shower. See that straight ahead? So that way you can rinse off before you head inside. You don't have to be dragging everything inside the house. But look how roomy this is. Like I said, this is perfect for entertaining and having just a fantastic time with the entire family and your friends. And then if that wasn't enough, of course, you got your pool and spa already built in, ready to go. You already got the planted trees, great landscaping, even out here. Again, this would be heading out from your primary suite right over here. And then you got your additional area where you can hang out and have some fun in the sun. Wow. Okay. And then I didn't mention in the beginning of the video, but we do have the metal roof as well. So extremely durable. And that's perfect. And that's something that you want, especially on the square footage on this home. But other than that, family, that was another beautiful luxury home tour. All right, Rankin family, that was it for this beautiful luxury property tour. Let me know in the comments below what you thought about this particular home. Is this something you could see yourself living in? Would you make any changes? If so, let me know in the comments below. Of course, if you want more information about this home or any home we showcase, reach out to the information in the description. Consider hitting that subscribe button so you don't miss a tour every single week. And I'll see you folks on the next property tour. Welcome back to another fantastic property tour, Rankin family. Today, we are located in Nashville, Tennessee again, looking at another gorgeous luxury home for sale. And I want to give a huge thank you to the listing agent, Brian Bandis with Keller Williams Realty, for making this tour possible. I'll be sure to leave all of the information in the description below. Now, starting on the exterior, family, the front facade is impeccable. You have the high-pitched roofs with the natural stone as well as the brick combination. This home is going to be situated on just over half an acre. You are going to have your 3-car garage right over here to the left, and this is in the community of Green Hills. So if you know anything about Nashville, Green Hills is extremely sought after. So, and quite frankly, I always recommend to drive through if you can. You are going to have your 3-car garage right over here to the left. Then you have this massive motor court, a long driveway, beautiful landscaping right here in the front. And then you see the mature trees surrounding you and the neighbors. Now, as we walk inside of here, the cool thing about this property is you see the natural stone continues in the covered front porch. So surrounds that, just encompasses the entire front porch and just gives that timeless look. You are going to have the outdoor gas lanterns as well. So of course, when that's lit up, oh my goodness. Now you have the front door, of course, with our glass panes, adding a ton of character, but then that's going to continue as soon as we enter inside this home. Look at this. Wow. Okay. So immediately, whenever you walk in, you have this beautiful grand foyer. You see your light fixture right above that. But more importantly, the white oak floors just stands out. You have them in a herringbone pattern. That's going to continue all the way out there. You see our staircase right over here to the right. And then immediately to the left, this is your first utility room. You have an additional one on the second floor. We'll get to that in just a second. Now inside of here, you have the shaker cabinetry with the black hardware. You got your mudroom utility room combination. You see the shiplap continuing right there. You got your chrome racks, or chrome hooks rather. And then you have your built-in sink, and then that's gonna be surrounded by quartz counters. So plenty of space for your oversized washer and dryer. You're gonna have the cabinet crowns on top. And then as I open this, your massive garage. So plenty of space. And then of course you see that you have a ton of windows with the grids. You got your tankless water heater right over there to the right. So plenty of space to work with. Now this home is over 7,800 square feet of interior living space. And you'll really see that that is extremely prevalent as soon as we walk through this entire home. Okay, now before I take you over there, okay, to the left, I want to show this area over here to the right, just so we don't miss a thing whatsoever. So right over here, you got your closet. You can add that rack inside of there if you wanted to use that as a coat closet. And then before we continue, this is our first powder bath. So you got the tile flooring in here, shiplap accents continuing, the deep maroon color, and that's gonna even continue on the ceiling. You got your gold sconce right there. Beautiful floating vanity here. Incredible. All right, now let's go ahead and head over here. Now, this is gonna be our first bedroom. Of course, they have it staged as a study, but this would be the perfect in-law suite here, or your guest bedroom. This would be perfect. So as I pan this entire room, you can see a king bedroom set would fit comfortably in here. You still have a ton of walk room. That just gives you an idea with our desk inside of here. Now, there's 5 bedrooms and all of them are en suite. So I know you can certainly appreciate that. Look how massive this is. The quartz countertops, you got your beautiful chrome sconces here, the sleek mirror, massive walk-in shower. Look at this. The only addition that may enhance this is that rain shower head, but other than that, plenty of room to work with. And of course, you can add that down the road, no issue. Now, you are going to notice before we head into the massive walk-in closet, even just for this bedroom, you have this quartz ledge right here. So real nice, timeless look. And then we continue in here. Look at this. And like I always mention, what you see is what you get inside of these homes that are for sale, right? That's the difference between the model homes. I talk about that quite often. So you already have your built-ins ready to go. The white oak floors continues in here. You got that massive window with the grids, plenty of racks available to store any size wardrobe. So really, at the end of the day, like I said, whatever stage you are in your life, whether that is your in-laws coming to stay with you, you have plenty of guests that come over, you're gonna notice that this home is perfect for that. Okay, so let's go ahead and continue. You will also notice the chrome knobs on here. Fantastic job. Then you have the molding inside of the baseboards, but wait till you see this beautiful kitchen. Okay, before we continue, let me do a full pan so you can see the full scope of this room, and then we'll go ahead and talk about things. So as soon as you enter inside of here, you see the wood clad ceilings continues. We saw that in the covered front porch. Then you have the quartzite countertops with the waterfall, and then that's going to continue up the backsplash. Now looking at the stack cabinetry, you see the shaker cabinetry continues in here. You have all high-end appliances, the best that money can buy. You have the Wolf and then Sub-Zero refrigeration and the freezer. We'll see that in just a second. The paneled refrigerator, just adding that beautiful sleek look, right? And then you see the stack cabinetry continuing over there. Before we continue, as always, you know we have to open up the refrigerator. We got a lonely Aquafina. But look at this, the two-tone cabinetry. Oh my goodness. What a wonderful job they've done. Then they're all gonna have the soft close mechanism, of course. And I always like to mention that, you know, it's usually a given for a home of this magnitude, but I just always have to bring that up for you. And then you're gonna have the Cove dishwasher. That's gonna be paneled as well. And turning it around here, look at that. You got your 6 burners. Then you have your griddle. Plenty of counter space. Let's open up some of these cabinets so it gives you a better perspective. Then of course, your wooden range hood that just adds that minimal look, but really still extremely gorgeous. You got your trash drawer right here. And then look at this. Wow. You talk about the Sunday dinners or Thanksgiving dinners, all the family right there. Look at that. So you can imagine all your family along the bar over there. And then of course, the great room, which we'll get to in just a second. Now, as we continue over here, plenty of additional counter space, your prep area. Then you got your nice large window right above there or right there. So you can just go ahead and have a nice little view of your neighbor, right? But even the quartzite continues along that backsplash as well. Okay, now you open this up, heading into your massive pantry. Look at this, family. So look at the amount of prep counter space that you have. You have an additional sink. The shaker cabinetry continues in here. You got your KitchenAid, dishwasher, an additional, or like a secondary refrigerator, right? So plenty of space. And most times you are just gonna have all of the dishes over here, make a mess out here. You don't have to worry about it, right? But I just love the amount of space that you have in here. Of course, you're gonna spend a large majority of your time in the kitchen and the great room. So I always love when they take pride in that. Now you are gonna notice the shiplap backsplash as well. You have an additional window with the grids inside, some more cabinetry to work with. That is perfect. Okay, now as we continue to our dining area, you see that you have the floating shelves, the wood clad ceilings continues here. You have an additional sink right there. It's more of like that wet bar. Beautiful light fixture right above our dining room table. Then you have a climate controlled wine room right here. Of course, we're gonna open that up, but I love the floor to ceiling glass. Gives it that elegant look. And then look at this. You see that natural stone surrounding there. So even if you're not a wine drinker, I recommend just get you some bottles of wine to have that beautiful look, right? And then let's go ahead and turn you around. You got the accent lighting right underneath the shelving, and what you see is what you get, family. Beautiful. You see the cabinet doors surrounding your island here. The white oak flooring continues in here. Zero carpet. So now I know you can certainly appreciate that as well. And then heading in your great room. Oh my goodness. So you have your clear story windows, 20-foot ceilings, the LED ceiling fan. Then you have the natural stone surrounding that fireplace. I know you can see that. So that's been common throughout this entire home. Love the sleek floor registers right there. And then that's going to be your 3 seasons room. We'll see that in just a second. You can see your second level from the great room right there. Beautiful. And so, you know, we talk about that quite often, having a home that is extremely practical and functional. And that's the common theme that I'm noticing as we're walking throughout this property. And of course, I always welcome your feedback in the comments below. So let me know if you do agree. Got the natural stone accent wall heading into your primary suite, and get a load of this, family. Wow. Massive room. So You're gonna have your fireplace in here. Look at that. The quartzite surrounds that. King bedroom set, your nightstands. Look how much room you have on both sides. Then just that cozy feel. You have your additional sitting area right there with the coffered ceiling design. I'll show you that in just a second. Let me go ahead and turn you around. So it looks like we have 12-foot ceilings inside of the primary suite. The white oak floors, you got your gas fireplace there. And look at this. Wow, you talk about tranquility, peace, you know, unwinding from a long day. Read a nice book right here. Wow. Okay, so the wood clad ceilings right here again. And then as we head over here to our primary bath, which is right over here to the left, look at this. So you have dual sinks. You got your towel closets right there. Chrome hardware continues in here. So the chrome theme has been common in here as well, right? So we've seen that with the sconces, with the doorknobs, with just the, the hardware in general. So I can really appreciate the chrome with the white shaker cabinetry. And as I turn you around, look at this. You have 4 shower heads. You got your dual shower niches right there, your freestanding tub, and you have the tile flooring continuing here. So you have plenty of room to work with. I love when we go into a primary bathroom and you just have so much additional space to work with. So this is gonna be the dual entry, right? And like I mentioned earlier in the video, that rain shower head works wonders. So the amount of steam that would produce is amazing. Then you got your bar area over here, some additional shelving. Of course, right over here to the left is your water closet. I used to call it toilet room, but the comments didn't appreciate that. So it sounded like it went with it pretty well. All right, so look at our closet. So you have a vanity right here, perfect for a cosmetic area. Let's take advantage of that. You got your additional drawers, plenty of rack. That's gonna continue all the way to the ceiling. You know, we talk about that quite often. We go into some of these homes and maybe it stops halfway. And I always mention that to, increase the amount of storage available inside of these rooms. You can always add that, but in this case, we have it floor to ceiling. And then before we continue, we got our drawer right here. Just had to make sure that was soft closing as well. They didn't skip a beat. And then you have the sleek floor registers in here again. All right, so if you haven't let me know so far what you give this particular home. Like I said, we have a lot more to cover. That was just the first level. We are just getting started 15 minutes into the video, right? So let's go ahead and continue. We've seen what we've seen so far. Of course, this is the front door from the inside. Now the white oak flooring continues up the staircase. You got these iron railings. And then look at this loft area. Okay. So many ways to go. You might get lost. So we're gonna go ahead and take our time so that way you can get a feel of the entire layout. So heading over here, and like I mentioned earlier, every single bedroom is en suite. So you have a storage closet right here. You can add all the games that you need to. Now get a load of how spacious this is. Perfect for a queen bedroom set, possibly even a queen, depending on the nightstands and the additional furniture that you add in here. But you have plenty of room to work with. You can play Tetris with your furniture. And look at this. So the common theme again in here is the en-suites are massive itself. Beautiful sconces on both sides of the mirror. You got the chrome spout. And this looks very similar to the first bedroom, the one that we were talking about as far as the guest bedroom is concerned. It looks identical, except for some of the cosmetic items. even the extremely spacious walk-in closet. All right, family, let's go ahead and continue our tour. So again, let me know in the comments what you're thinking about this home. You know, it feels extremely good to be back in Nashville. You know, we were in Florida for, gosh, it felt like forever. I got some comments that folks thought we moved there, right? So we had to keep it going. All right. So next bedroom. Wow. Look at this. I'm going to stand on this corner. So this looks like the largest bedroom that we've seen so far. Plenty of space to work with. You see that we have a ton of space to fit a king bedroom set without any issues whatsoever. Now this one, you're going to have the shower tub combination, right? The pocket doors separating the two, not only the bathroom, but also the closet. Then you got your circle mirror here, quartz countertops. You got the darker gray cabinetry with the chrome hardware. And then look at this, massive closet again. I mean, being over 7,800 square feet, you're really getting the feel of where that additional square footage is, right? So the bedrooms, the walk-in closet, the ensuite itself. Perfect. Now heading over here to the right, this is going to be a perfect recreation room, family. So really, the possibilities are certainly endless. You're going to have an additional media room. We'll see that in a second. You have another bonus room and a flex room. But look at the amount of room that you have to work with. So let me know if this is something you could see yourself living in. I'm telling you. And what would you make that room, right? If you have children, of course, I'm pretty sure you might use it for them. I know my kiddos would be running in and out of that room for days, to be honest with you. Okay, so now we're gonna head to this room. This will be our next bedroom. So it looks extremely spacious. White oak flooring continuing here. You got the floor to ceiling windows. Here's your ensuite. Look at that, again, extremely roomy and extremely spacious. This is gonna be the shower tub combo again. Now you got that glass right here. This is a glass door. You can actually open that for accessibility. Then the herringbone tile shower surround. Then you have the shower niche in there. And so what I'm also noticing too is they changed it up as far as the hardware. So in here, you see you have the black hardware. Some of the other en-suites, you have the chrome and even the chrome sconce. But that sconce right above that, it's going to be that brushed nickel. And then you have your additional storage closet right over here with your built-in shelving. Now we're going to head to this side. Now, I mentioned earlier that there is a second laundry room, right? So we saw the first one, which was massive right by the front door. Then you're going to have your additional one over here. We'll continue and you'll see it in just a second. But look at this. Wow. This is a media room. Not only is it extremely spacious, but you have 0 windows. And then if you haven't, let me know, do you like your media rooms with a window, or would you prefer it just to be completely windowless? Me personally, windowless always seems the best, but we can agree to disagree. You have your accent wall right here. Then you have the steps, so it gives it that theater feel. All you got to do is add the theater seats and then of course the projector. You are good to go. Then they have a full kitchenette in here. Plenty of cabinetry, the quartz countertops. You have an additional refrigerator. So this will be our third one that we've seen in the house so far. And you just have storage galore. Probably this is the top, I'd say, top 3 media rooms I've seen of all time. Just with that kitchenette too, right? Okay. So this is that second utility room that I mentioned. You still have plenty of space for a decent size washer and dryer. You have an additional sink. The shaker cabinetry continues. So now heading to this room, this is a flex space, family. So you have the painted wood slat ceilings in here, or wood clad ceiling rather, but you can use this as a second study or your primary study, depending if you staged or at least have a bedroom inside of that first one that we have seen that is staged as a study. But hence the name flex space. It's extremely flexible. And then last, but certainly not least, is this room. Look at this space. So much space, this could be a dang ballroom, which is fantastic, but this is a bonus room. So if you wanted to have this as your game room, you can certainly do that. Have a pool table in here, maybe a massive couch to entertain your entire family. You could do that as well. All right. So that was the entire home. Like I said, interior heated square feet, over 7,800. And then I don't believe I showed you this, but if I didn't, here we go. That was our second powder room. Now, last but not least, I want to show you the backyard, but more importantly, I want to show you the 3 seasons room, right? And then you might be wondering, because I've noticed the terminology, it changes quite drastically depending on what state you're in. You know, in Texas, we used to call it the covered porch or the covered patio rather. And then I got there and they call it the covered lanai, right? So I got in trouble in the comments for that quite often. But here, the 3 seasons room, a sun room in other parts of the country. So this is what it is. And of course, 3 seasons room, the 3 seasons that you can use this in, right? Spring, summer, and fall. But look, you have the wood clad ceilings continue. This is heated right here. So you could even use this in the winter, right? So it's enclosed, so you don't have to worry about anything. Kind of protect you from the sun quite often. Then you have an outdoor fireplace with the natural stone surrounding that. This is a perfect entertainment space. So there was a ton of spaces or rooms to entertain in. And you might worry that your guests may not leave, but you got your sliders right there. You got your stainless steel range hood, an additional sink, plenty of counter space. And that feels amazing. You should be able to see it. You got 3 of those heaters right there. Now you head outside of here, you got a little enclosed area. You still have a ton of backyard space, and then you've seen the front yard space. So like I said, just over half an acre. So possibly if you wanted to add the trampoline out here, a nice little swing set, you still have room to work with. And then of course you have some patio equipment that you can add out here and still have a ton of space. But other than that, family, that was another beautiful property tour. All right, Rankin family, that was it for this beautiful home right here in Nashville, Tennessee. Let me know in the comments below what you thought about this particular home. Is this something you could see yourself living in? Would you make any changes? If so, please let me know in the comments below. Of course, if you want more information about this home or any home we showcase, reach out to the information in the description. Consider hitting that subscribe button so you don't miss a tour every single week. And I'll see you folks on the next property tour.